Hey everyone. So think about the last time you hopped on the metro to get to class or just sat on a park bench. We use these shared spaces all the time, right? Especially as students trying to get around the city. But have you ever stopped to think about who really owns them? Today, we're going to get into our personal responsibility for the world that's right outside our front door. You know that feeling when the city rolls out a brand new, gleaming metro line? It's awesome. But when you sit down on one of those fresh, clean seats, what's really happening? Are you just using a service? Or are you actually facing a quiet little test of your own character? I mean, on the left, that's the dream, right? That feeling of pride when our city looks as cool and modern as London or New York. We want clean, comfortable travel for everyone. But then, look at the right. This is what actually happens way too often. Slashed seats, graffiti, just general disrespect. It shows this huge gap between the city we want and the way we sometimes act. So what's the excuse? You hear it all the time. There's this feeling of, well, it's not mine. People think, it's government property. It's not my problem. Someone else is paid to come and fix it. It's an easy out, but man, does it miss the bigger picture? Because here's the thing, and this is really what it all comes down to. That little scratch isn't just damaging some object. It's a reflection of who we are. It's a stain on our character and on our community's character. And to really get this, really get it, we need to dive into a story. Okay, so let me introduce you to Keyur. He's 22, he's in college, he's probably a lot like you or your friends. And his story starts on one of those brand new metro lines on a day that seemed totally normal, but ended up teaching him a lesson he would never, ever forget. All right, so picture this. Keyur and his buddies hop on the train for the very first time. They're laughing, messing around, and in this dumb moment of trying to look cool or whatever, he pulls out his keys. First, he carves into the new seat. Then he takes it even further, punching a hole in it and pulling out the stuffing. Just a completely thoughtless act, all for a cheap laugh. And his friends? Are they stopping him? Nope, they're gassing him up. This quote says it all. They're acting like he just did something legendary, like he's now immortal in metro history. It's this exact kind of peer pressure that can turn a really stupid idea into actual damage. Now, here's the thing about actions. They always have consequences, but you almost never see them right away. A dumb joke happens in a split second, but karma, or whatever you want to call it, has a way of coming back around. For Keyur, it took a whole year for his actions to find him again. So let's fast forward 1 year. Keyur isn't with his friends trying to look cool anymore. He's on the metro with his pregnant sister, taking her to a doctor's appointment. The whole vibe is different. And the stakes? They're much, much higher. The train is totally packed. You know how it gets, standing room only. But they get lucky. They spot one single empty seat. What a relief, right? His sister moves to sit down to finally get off her feet. And then, out of nowhere, there's a sharp scream of pain. So what happened? The seat was torn, just like the one Keyur had messed up. But this wasn't just about looking ugly anymore. A sharp piece of metal was sticking out from inside the torn fabric, and it had sliced her leg. That abstract act of fun just caused a very real, very painful injury. And Keyur, he is furious. He sees his sister hurt and bleeding, and he just loses it. He shouts, "What kind of savage people do this? Who would tear up a new train seat?" He has absolutely no idea that he's basically yelling at a mirror image of himself from a year ago. But someone else on that train gets it. An elderly passenger sitting nearby looks right at him and says this: "Son, this seat was torn by a smart young man just like you. His fun has become your family's punishment." And just like that, his past crashes right into his present. You can just imagine it, right? Everything clicks for Keyur in that moment. That stupid joke, that moment he wanted to be cool, it didn't just disappear into thin air. It came back, and it came back as pain for his own family. So the question is, who did he really harm? It wasn't some faceless government, it was himself. Keyur's story really drives the whole point home. Every time someone carves their name into a bus seat or breaks something in a park, they're not striking a blow against the system. They are literally making the future uglier and more dangerous for their friends, for their family, and eventually for themselves. You know, there's actually a really powerful term for this whole mindset. It's called mental poverty. And it's basically this twisted belief that destroying public stuff is somehow an act of bravery or rebellion. But it's not. It's a poverty of spirit.
It's a failure to see that we're all connected and that this space belongs to every single one of us. So the takeaway here is simple, but it can change everything. The metro, the bus, the park you hang out in after class, this is your property. It's like our city's shared living room. And the real question is, how are you going to treat it? Will you protect it, or will you risk turning your joke into someone else's pain? And maybe, just maybe, even your own. That choice is ours to make.
एक कदम विकसित भारत की ओर।